Welcome back to today's office administration class. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the flow of communication. I know when you hear the term flow of communication, you may wonder what does it mean. It simply means the direction and how communication moves from one point to another. In this context, we refer to a company within and outside of a company, how information or communication occurs within and outside of a company. There are three main flows of communication, or three main ways that communication flows. There's the upward flow of communication, the downward flow of communication, and lateral flow of communication. The upward flow of communication deals with information or communication being sent from the subordinate to the supervisor. And in this context, to understand it more, it's like moving from the lowest position on the organization chart upwards. Let's say we have the office assistant may report to their supervisor. So we're moving up the organization chart. Communication is moving from the bottom to the top. So the person, the office clerk, will be communicating the information to their supervisor who is above them in the organization chart. And that supervisor may relay that information to their manager who's above them, so the information keep going and going upwards. So in that way, it can be described if information is flowing upwards. Then you have the downward flow of communication, which is the opposite of the upward flow of communication. The downward flow of communication is when information is being passed on from the top of the organization or the superiors down to their subordinates. For example, a manager might give out instruction to the supervisor. The supervisor will then in turn relay that information to the office workers and the factory workers. So information is moving from the top to the bottom of the organization there. Then we have the lateral flow of communication. And when you think about lateral, we think about something that is horizontal or on the same level. So person may share information or communicate information with persons who are on the same level as they are within the organization. For example, the managers for the different departments may come together and have a meeting and discuss and share information among themselves. Let's say you are working as a office clerk, you may share information with a fellow office clerk, and that sharing of information is not going upward or it's going downward. It's you are sharing information with someone who are on the same level with you, and we can describe that flow of communication as lateral flow of communicating. Since we are on the topic of communication can be classified into either internal or external communication. Now, internal communication refers to communication or all of the information that are passed on with personnel who are working within an organization. For instance, we have information that is passed from manager to employees, employees to other employees, or managers to other managers. The information is, we are not in this type of communication, they are not communicating with person outside of the organization, they are communicating with person within the organization. And this form of communication is very important because every business have their own aim and objective, mainly to make a profit. And if communication is broken or there is a break in communication, that may cause the business to not function as well as it could. They may cause delays. It may even cause the business a loss profit because of. Now there is the external communication. Now external communication is sharing information or communicating with persons who are outside of the organization. And when I mean outside of the organization, I mean they are now working within that organization. This, for example, we could have the employee communicating to customers, the managers communicating with suppliers, and the company communicating information to government agency. Now, external communication is very important Because with poor external communication, it might send a negative image of the company to customers. Customers may have delay in their shipment. Also, shipment from suppliers may be delayed because of poor communication. Even government agency might sanction the business for failure to obey various laws. So communicating is important both inside of a business internally and outside of a business externally. Now this is bring us to the end of today's lesson. I hope that you have learned something today. Keep doing your own research, your own reading. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next lesson.